Recently, I became very, very bored of training. And this is a problem because I like the way that training makes me look. I like the way that training makes me feel. But I was going to the gym and I just absolutely hated it, bro. This is basically like a menopause bet for training. You've got to a good level, you've made some gains, but you've done it for so long that everything is just incredibly boring. This is where I've recently found myself, and this is maybe where you find yourself too if you're watching this video. First thing you want to do is consider your goals. Why are you training? Why are you training now? What do you want to look like? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to get to? And for me, like a physique like this is pretty damn good. It's pretty damn spot on. Do I need to spend 6 days a week, 3 hours a day in the gym to look like that? Absolutely not. I could probably do it with 4 weight sessions per week, 4 fun cardio sessions per week, and tracking my food 80% of the time. First thing I did was I sat down, I was like, okay, what is my goal? What do I want to get to? Why am I training? Rather than just meaninglessly going through the motions, why am I training? What do I want to do? Recently, I started doing Muay Thai. So I love looking good. I love feeling good. But now I'm doing Thai boxing. I want to get good at that. I want to be flexible. I want to be functional. I've got a reason to train beyond the gym. Starting to get a little bit of motivation. So maybe think like sports, something that you can do outside the gym. If you hate something, the first thing you want to do is do less of it. I took my training down from 5 days a week to 4 days a week because if I'm training 4 days a week, I'm able to do that every single week. I get a sense of, yes, I'm doing it. I feel good. If I'm trying to go for 5 or 6 days a week and I'm only going 4 days a week, I'm like, oh no, I'm a failure. I'm not doing that thing. If you enjoy something and you enjoy only doing a 30-minute session in the gym, that's going to be a million times better than going to the gym and trying to do longer and then failing because you can't do the full session because you don't enjoy it. There's got to be an element of things you got to enjoy. Like this video, for example, I could sit down and make this video in a very different way and be like, hey guys, my name is Mo Samuels, and put on like this fucking Chad 20% heightened personality that all the little kids are going to be like, oh my God, this guy's so alpha. His voice is so deep. But I don't enjoy making videos of that. Went from 4 days down to 5 days, training for less days. You could even get away with training 3 days and still make good progress. I'd say 3 times full body sessions a week is a really good split. In my case, because I don't really want to blow up my legs and I want to focus on getting like a really nice V-taper men's physique look, I'm doing pull, push, lower, upper.
Trains everything twice a week except legs. I don't really want to get any bigger legs. I'm going to start to look stupid in trousers and I want that like aesthetic looking physique with decent legs, but not massive legs. This is what my new split currently looks like. If you want to grab it, there is a link down below and this is literally identical to the split that I'm running.
You probably don't need to do as much as you think you do at the gym if you're training with high intensity.
High intensity training is basically where you go really, really close or to your point of failure on the majority of sets that you do in a workout. What is the most that you can get from the least? What is the maximum that you can get in terms of gains, in terms of performance, in terms of improvement? You only really need to be doing between 10 and 20 sets per muscle group per week in order to make a solid amount of progress. If you're training really hard, close to your point of failure, high intensity type workouts, you can get away with about 10 to 15 sets per muscle group per week and still make really good progress. Like the graph probably looks something like this, and this kind of golden area between the 10 to 20 sets mark is where you want to be. Sure, you can do 50 sets and you'll probably still make some gains if you can recover from it, but like, is it worth spending an extra 3 hours in the gym every single day to make 3% more gains? Probably not. What does 10 to 15 sets per muscle group per week actually look like? So let's take chest, for example. You want to train everything high frequency, so twice a week other than legs. On the first session, you do 2 exercises at 3 sets, which is going to be 6 sets total. On the second session of the week, you do 2 exercises at 3 sets as well, so 6 sets total. That is going to be 12 sets a week total. So if you do those to high intensity near that point of failure, you're only doing 4 exercises a week for chest at 3 sets each. But that is going to be enough to make good, sufficient progress and improve.
Ultimately, what it comes down to is enjoyment and fun. Am I going to get the best results from training for 2 or 3 hours where by the end of my session, I'm absolutely hating it, I don't want to be there, I've got no energy left, I've got no pump? Or am I going to get the best results from doing something that's, say, on paper, slightly less optimal, maybe slightly fewer exercises or slightly fewer sets, going balls to the wall, training high intensity to failure for 1 hour, enjoying it, then leaving the gym and doing it consistently?
In terms of training, you want to set it up like this. So look at this beautiful Venn diagram that I've made. You want your training split to consider 3 things. What is optimal? So what is science-based? What is good? Volume, intensity. What is enjoyable? What do you actually enjoy doing yourself? And what is practical? Only when these 3 things come together can you get a training plan that you're actually going to stick to, you're actually going to enjoy, and you're actually going to make progress from. If something is optimal and practical, like it's the best training split in the world, but you don't enjoy it, you're not going to get good results from it because you're not going to be able to follow it. So you want to consider what is optimal, what is enjoyable, and what is practical to get to this beautiful little Goldilocks zone in the middle, which will be the perfect split for you. By now, we've established that you don't want to spend hours and hours in the gym, or it's not going to be enjoyable. We've also established that you want a certain amount of volume and intensity in order to actually get the most out of your training.
To get some extra volume, some extra intensity in without actually increasing the amount of time in your gym, things like rest pauses, so where you go to a failure on an exercise, have a 10-second rest, and then you go to failure again on the same weight, are really good ways at adding extra volume. Supersets, where you do one exercise and you go straight onto another exercise, superset it with one another, is a really good way at reducing time.
And a superset works for those two because you're training triceps and you're training biceps. When you're doing the skull crushes, your biceps aren't involved, and when you're doing the bicep curl, your triceps aren't involved.
Drop sets as well, where you go to a failure, drop the weight down, and then go again. Drop the weight by like 40%. That's a really good way at increasing intensity, increasing overall training volume without increasing the amount of time that you're in the gym. Main takeaways from this, boys and girls, is have a training goal. Like, have a reason to train, have a way that you want to look, have something beyond the gym that you're training for. Think about reducing your training days, bringing them down, maybe 3 days, maybe 4 days, if it's more manageable and you can actually do it consistently. Reducing your training time, dropping down the volume, maybe trying a high intensity style of training if you don't do it already. If you want to grab a really good program, the exact same one that I'm following right now, it's only got one leg day in a week as well, so you don't have to. If you want to grab that and you want to find something that's actually enjoyable and fun, and it's kind of like the solution for me for this problem, I'll put a link for that down below. Peace out, love to bits. Thank you. Good night.